Being 7:02, we'll call the Ripon Area Fire District Board meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Wargula.
Here.
Mr. Iverson.
Here.
Mr. Hanson.
Here.
Mr. Page.
Here.
Mr. Wirch.
Here.
And Mr. Vanderbrink is here. Also present is Chief Saul. Any corrections to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Hanson,
I'll second that.
second by Wargula. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The secretary's report, we don't have tonight. We had some miscommunications between, not Jim, he wasn't here, but we'll have them for next month. Treasurer's report, review accounts payable. Anything you wanna point out, chief?
Yep, I'm getting there. Excuse me. Page one, CO alarms, that's, when we go to a call, if people don't have operating carbon monoxide alarms, or they can't afford them, we do give out those, so that's what that's for. Page two, the Webster's Marketplace, those were, yeah, all that's rehab supplies for either the van or calls that we were on. The body search in Fond du Lac, all day at fair, and some miscellaneous stuff for that. The Nathan Bell, the reimbursed for wire purchase, that was, he's an electrician, he works for an electrical company, so that money came out of donation account, and that was for wiring for upstairs, and he got us a deal on it, so that's why it's reimbursed to him. On page four, runner's fire equipment, that was the air brake on tender 13. We've had problems with it in the past. It's an air brake on a plastic dash, so it kept breaking. So it broke, and we had a hard time. We couldn't even get the air brake off of it, actually. So they made a custom bracket for that. That's what that was for. Some more Webster's burn house that we did in town of Nepiescum, and on page 5 under runner's fire equipment, that's siren. In the rapid response vehicle, the siren went out, so that's what that was for. And under the fire store, those were fire hooks. Actually what it is elevator hooks. So we've had quite a few elevator rescues over the last 6 months, and it's the elevator key that drops down. We didn't have any, so we ended up buying 2. That's what that was for. So, and that's it.
Any questions of Mr. Iverson?
Yeah, I think it's page 1. It's the unit 11, engine 11.
Yeah.
Preventive maintenance and the rebuilt front end, front rear. Can you tell me about that? What's going on with that truck?
Preventative maintenance. Yeah, the preventative maintenance is just something we do annually. It's all on all of the rigs. So that one got done early because it had a front, the front suction had a valve that was needed to be replaced. Okay. So it was going in to have the valve replaced, and at the same time we did preventative maintenance on it. I just got the bills for the other one, and that's about almost $5,000 in preventative maintenance for all the vehicles.
Okay.
Were just completed, so we haven't had them. So you're gonna be seeing $5,000 worth of bills, but that's preventative maintenance stuff. That's our annual stuff we do every year.
Mr. Page?
Radio decals.
Those were our inventory. We ran out of decals, so we had to get more printed up, and it just says what an engine is, engine whatever, and it's on the portable. It's just a decal. At the same time, we had a bunch of other ones made too for our inventory of our equipment, so we were short on. Excuse me.
Any other questions?
Von Briesen the legal services, is that from last month with,
Tom?
yeah,
Yeah, that's Tom's,
just from that, or is there more onto that?
that's Tom's fee for whatever, I can get you the exact, whatever, the detail sheet.
Well, there's two of them, one's for 2,250,
Right.
and then there's one up front here somewhere. That was a lot less, I was kinda curious about that too.
I can get you those details.
Oh,
Later, I don't
second
have
page.
those. I
Alright,
don't have those, but that's all,
$450.
it's all attorney stuff, so whether Joel has them do something, I just get the bill and I submit it to be paid, so. Trying to think what that was for, but offhand, I don't have that, I'd have to go look what the detail is. I know it was like 0.3 hours for this,
Bookkeeping.
half hour for this, what?
He looked a lot into the bookkeeping with WRS. and
That's what it was,
Right.
yep.
bookkeeping service.
A lot of it was the bookkeeping stuff.
Correct.
Ah, there was a,
And then the last one before that would've been from August, from,
Yeah, I
you know, billing.
looking for the other one?
Maybe billing stuff, I'd have to
no,
look.
there was a bookkeeping on here too.
Oh, to Barb?
Oh, yeah, Barb,
Yep.
Barb,
Mm-hmm.
Barb Masher.
yeah, I saw that, I don't remember which page it was on
It's on, page 4, third one from the bottom.
Did she do that?
Okay.
Payroll this one? That's,
Yeah.
though. So is that something that we're going with in the future, or?
That'll be under old business D.
we'll be discussing that.
That was a temporary thing you guys did last month, or Joel authorized last month,
Mhm.
for the 1 month interim until we could have a meeting with it. Cause she resigned after the meeting, so we wanted to have a formal meeting to actually hire her, or whoever we want later.
Okay, any other questions on the, accounts payable or treasurer's report? Not, we'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve treasury report and
Motion.
accounts payable. for
Motion
November.
by Mr. Wirtz, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Iverson, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Status on outstandings, Jim?
Chief and I went over them this afternoon, couple of them. Some of them are new, I don't know if you guys noticed, it is a smaller list. Obviously, there's a couple newer things and things like that, and some old ones that have been out there for a little while. A few of those will be going by the end of the month to the collection agency. We've kind of exhausted everything we can, so wanna get them there by the end of the year so they can do what they can before the tax intercept program can take over in January, February, and people start filing their tax returns, so a couple of those will be going there, but otherwise Chief and I have had conversations about it, and we had some good collections actually in the last couple months here. Some old stuff kinda went off and some new ones came on, but that's the nature of our business.
Okay.
And Chief's gonna look into a couple of them that we talked about with a couple of the businesses and stuff like that, was it still from the old one, or was it a new charge, things like that, to make sure we're up to date with insurance companies and stuff. Get it cleared up by the end of the year here as much as we can.
Okay. All right, thank you. Chief's report.
Should only take about an hour. Not going on this month. Okay. Fire inspections, we're just working on re-inspections, they're almost done, they're going really well. The project updates, obviously up, upstairs, we've dropped electrical, cable, now it's in the process of just waiting for drywall, but, that's, what do you call it, done on donation money through the association, so, that's kinda at a slow pace, obviously. Nothing with the garage or the grounds besides that. Staffing update, we've gained 2, but we're losing 2. So we gain 2, we lose 2. Hopefully I gained quite a bit, but, we do have 2 in firefighter class right now. They're finishing up December 15th, and then we have 2 that are going to firefighters class in January 1st. So, we're losing 2, but we're gaining 2 new certified firefighters, and we're also gaining, and those are cadets, actually. One's a cadet, one's a paid-on-call firefighter, and then the next two that are going in are new firefighters. So, we're keeping that good recruitment pace of recruiting new people for the ones we lose, so. We're losing those, one's getting a job, out of town, out of state in Mississippi, and the other one is, going, he got on another fire department, so he's working 2 departments right now. So it's a lot for him, and he's demanding more on his other department that he gets paid at, so. Call volume, I looked at that and figured it out today, and, the report says that we were at 275. But that was when I did the report, which was done kinda early this month, on the 18th. And right now, we're at, right around 290. And if everything stays on pace, it'd be right around 320 to 340. You saw calls for the month. Obviously, we had a house fire in town, everybody knows that. We gave mutual aid 4 times, I think. 4 times we gave them mutual aid, but we received it twice. And, we had the house fire on Joy Street, we had another garage fire the other night on, Olden Road. That one was a little bit more, we got a little bit lucky with that one. Gas leaks, other than that, calls for the month, 21 that rapid response handled, 10 of them by itself. Mutual aid 4 times, and we were given mutual aid 4, received it twice for a total of 275 calls. Annual pump testing's been done. Preventative maintenance, the Department of Transportation inspections. Annual service and arrest CBA compressor and extrication tools. The grant update, we put Firehouse subs, we did a grant for 17,000 for new pagers. Webster's grant and a Walmart grant. One of those is for headsets for the engine, one of the engines, and the other one's for smart TV for the training room upstairs. And shop with emergency personnel, we did this past last night, went well. Police did a great job with it, as always. The house burned at town of Nepiescum, we burned the house down over there on Island Air Road, went very well. Sun Prairie Fire Department came in and did a presentation on an explosion, which was very beneficial to us, and then we brought Santa into town. The other thing I wanted to mention was last night, we had we did our shop with emergency personnel with police and EMS. After that, we went to the Historical Society. They put together a display for the anniversary. Phenomenal, unbelievable what they did over there. It's the whole inside of the Historical Society. It's very, very impressive, very, very cool to see. Learned a lot. So that last night they unveiled it for us, so all our firefighters were there. They provided us with dessert snacks and refreshments, and it was a nice thing for everybody and their families. So a lot of families came out, and so I would encourage all of you to go take time and check it out. At some point, it's gonna be up for a whole year. And I think that's all I have. Oh, I take that back. The firefighter memorial wall is complete. Take a look at it, it's complete outside. It's beautiful, it's awesome. So it was a long time in the works. The association put up some good money to get that done, a lot of money, and, but it's done, it's complete. So, that's it. Unless anybody has questions.
I do. You had the gas leak up at, Alliance,
Yes,
okay. That was after the Sun Prairie presentation.
correct.
Do you think, after seeing that, your guys reacted differently than you would have thought, or?
Yes.
I listened a bit on the scanner, so it was very professional. what I heard.
Obviously that presentation really opened our eyes, and, you know, we had this gas smell, and it would come and it would go, but when it came, it was real strong. And we didn't take any chances, we evacuated those houses, we kept our distance. But yeah, I think we're more cautious, it's fresh in everybody's mind,
Right.
you know? They wanted to make sure they were protected like they should be, so everybody had their stuff on. And we did find that, and it was a leak inside Alliance Laundry from a machine that wasn't firing correctly. Luckily, it was venting out the roof instead of staying inside where it could have been catastrophic or had a problem, so. But yeah, it really made an impact on the guys.
Good.
And on EMS also, EMS, because they were there, police were out doing calls most of the time, but, good feedback from everybody for the presentation, I know you came and, sat through it, and I think it was beneficial to everybody, so. The other thing I wanna get across, and I don't know how to do it, I have a picture, I'll show you guys later, but, and I don't know how to do it, is to get the message out there. And maybe you guys can help at your town meetings and at the city council level. It's something I thought about going to the city council with, was, and making a plea out there that people have to have smoke detectors. Those people, in a fire recently we could have very easily lost 2 people in that fire. The second fire we had, that fire, they had smoke detectors, their dog woke them up, the smoke detectors, when the dog woke them up, then they heard the smoke detectors. Whether they were gonna sleep through a smoke detector or not, I don't know. But it alerted them to the fire, and again, I can't stress enough, yes, you never think it's gonna happen to you, and that's the comments we hear out there. But we gotta get the message out there, and I don't know a good way to do it except to preach it all the time, which I thought we were doing. But, so if you know people, spread the word.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Oh, one more thing. Just kidding.
I noticed 3 house lockouts this past month. One was by the Ripon and the other 2 were not.
Correct.
So we actually sent a truck with personnel, 3 or 4 personnel for a lockup. Was there an emergency situation that we were there? What's the cause and need of us going to a lockout like that?
House lockouts are fire calls. They're not, it's just something you haven't seen a lot
Yeah,
here
it's something I noticed, yeah.
lately. The police used to do most of the house lockouts, and then they'd call us when they need us out there. But that's not the way the county CAD system is put together. So the county CAD puts it as a fire call. Anywhere else, Illinois, everywhere is a fire call. That's why we're doing more house lockouts. Some of those are handled with 51, and some of them aren't. And those situations, you know, emergent, you know, no, it's more of a service thing we do, just like the police. You know, we go together and we do it together.
Are we billing for that?
What's that?
Are we billing for that?
There is a bill for that, yes.
I just don't remember what we had, if it was just miscellaneous and services or,
It's a, I
I
believe.
don't remember seeing it in, I don't remember it in our.
It's a $25 bill.
Just something I'm curious of,
You know,
something we can watch going forward, obviously.
It's something that, you know, I don't think the police charge for that service, but obviously we do. And we're not making money, we're just,
We're losing.
Losing money.
we're still losing, but we're getting some back, if that makes sense. So, but it's a service that we have to do. It's not just in Ripon, that's a fire call, it's everywhere.
Okay. Just something I've noticed that was
Yep.
on this report more than I've seen ever.
Right, when I did the report, I'm like, another house lockout, another one? I didn't realize we had 3 in 1 month, but
Something
that's
we can-
kinda,
something we can watch, we can address, we can either.
I think that's out of the
our
ordinary.
billing, our
I think it's
billing.
out of the ordinary though, really. One every month or one every other month would kinda maybe be normal, but
Or even track it to false alarms like we do so many within a certain time
Yeah.
that increase because, again, we're not here just to.
I mean, that's why one bill went out at $1,500 for fire alarms, you
Correct.
know? That's why they owe $1,500 for fire alarms.
Okay.
Gets to that point, so.
Just something to watch.
Okay, any other questions for the chief? Moving on to old business, service awards and payouts.
Pass this around. Taste it. Pass it around. Because it's quality paper. free. What do you want?
Makes it better.
Chief?
Two of them?
Oh, I'll take those two. No, I'll take those other two, yeah.
I don't know if that's what
No,
I
those
asked
are
for.
Just for my double checking as far as numbers.
Yep, yep.
So you're gonna see that, the top ones that are highlighted in yellow have all been paid off. The amount still owed is zero. The other ones, you see the amount owed, currently, to those individuals, and then in the green on the side, what we've paid. The individual who's all in the red, that person, did not meet the requirements, the 10 years, to be able to get, I believe it's 10 years, that's kinda why I put it there, but 10 years to get that. So, you see what's left that we owe. The other one, is on the very bottom, we still owe him, 1,800. So I didn't put that in there, I'm sorry. So you can fill in 1,800 next to his name.
And that, he has not got anything this year yet.
Correct. Cause he left in October,
Correct.
and we normally do it in December, so.
Correct.
Looking at the numbers, my recommendation is gonna be to, so we gotta clean up the slate. Not that we should have a bunch of other people retiring, but there's eligible people. And my suggestion would be to clean up as much of this as possible. And we would be able to take the $3,500 that we have in the firefighter fund, and then my suggestion would be to take some from contingency. We're in December, knock on wood. I think the budgets, the budget numbers that you have in here, are not true, obviously, because there's been things that have been paid and et cetera from when the report was done till now. For instance, payroll, and so I know what's there and looking at it, I think we're gonna be good. But again, we're in the business of what if, and, you never know. $5,500 would take care of everybody but the bottom two.
So it's about, what, $2,000 from contingency? Okay.
And you would like to take care of the bottom two also?
Oh, I would love to, but I don't think we should at this point.
No.
If we take care of, the four between the yellow and the red, I think that's making a pretty clean slate for us. I mean, that's my suggestion.
Barry, I have a question.
Yes, Tom.
How much do we have in contingency? I see it says 10,500. Is that accurate?
Should be, yes.
Okay, so
Year-
what,
year-to-date.
so we looking for a motion to do this, or what do we need?
Well, I think we need to discuss it, if that's what we wanna do. Or I guess we can do the motion and second and see where it goes.
Well, I'll make a motion, we take the money out of how much money out of contingent, 2,000?
It would be, $2,000 out of contingency,
$2,000 out of contingency.
plus the 3,500.
Plus the 3,500 that we already have in a firefighter's, account, and use it to pay off these four, former, fire officers, and, for their years of service.
Is there a second to Mr. Everson's motion?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on this? Jim?
Yeah, the last one, we have to give an installment this year, so we'd have to pay 500.
Oh, you're correct.
So what you're saying,
Well-
what you're saying to do wouldn't be enough.
And 500 to both of them.
And if we haven't given Liskey his 500 for this year yet, we'd have to do that.
Correct.
So we would have to,
Looking at 3,000 then instead of 2,000.
Right.
You wanna amend?
Yeah, I'd like to amend it to $3,000.
So we,
Then I'll agree to that, the amendment also.
Okay.
Oh.
Any other discussion, Mr. Redula?
I just was looking at the sheet where it said the first installment was paid on 5/7 for Kevin. That we didn't do that, obviously, there's still 3,500 in the account.
that was 5/7 last year, 2000.
Yeah,
Oh,
last year.
18, that's right, never mind.
Don't scare me.
Thank you thank you for correcting me.
Any other discussion? Jim?
For cleanliness, if you give Captain Liskey 500, he'll be left with a $300
Mhm.
installment left next year. So for simplicity's sake, I would like to clear as many of these up, obviously, in totality as possible. So we don't have a $300 or $100 sitting there just because, I mean, we do have the whole 10-5 in contingency, we do have the 3,500 in the firefighter fund. So we can use up the firefighter fund, obviously, that's what it's there for. Contingency is for things like this, we kinda had that plan going into this, knowing that we were gonna have some larger retirements coming up. I would prefer myself to see Captain Liskey's
Eliminated.
paid in full, obviously. I agree with Chief, get as many of them cleared up. To that point, we'd have 1,300 left for Captain Roy. The other option is, the total number I come up with is 8,100 with everyone, is that what you had, Chief? With all of them outstanding?
I didn't have the whole thing up.
You had 5,500 or 2,600 on top of that, so it should be 81.
Yeah.
So we have 14,000 between contingency and
Fine.
firefighter fund already, so we'd still have 5,900 left in contingency if we paid in full.
We paid including what?
Everyone,
All of it.
everyone to date in full.
Including Roy.
Correct. But my concern would be, again, is where do we get to the end of the year? We could make a motion contingent on no emergencies or anything for Captain Roy as well. You know, keep that 1,300 just in case.
Actually, maybe a better way to look at it is just one other idea is to take that $1,300 that we'd owe the last person, come January, just take it out of the next budget instead of out of this budget. Out of that firefighter fund for next year, cause even if you take 1,300 out of it, even if, okay, so that's 15, we would need 3 people to retire next year to each give them their $500. I don't see that happening.
But that just gets them their 500 versus, again, if one person retires, we can hopefully pay in full too. And we're playing what ifs, and obviously for emergencies towards the end of the month here, that's why I don't.
That's what worries me.
I agree, I agree, and that's where I think we could almost make that motion. Would I like to see both of the bottom two cleaned up and gone? Sure, but 1,300, I mean, you could almost make it contingent, you know, as of December 28th or something like that. As of December 28th, as long as no other emergencies come up, we can distribute that, we could make that motion too as part of it if we choose to. I just like clean, simple, gone. We have it available this year, we haven't touched the contingency like we sometimes have.
It's still gonna leave us just a little over half of what we have in contingency anyway, so
Correct.
it's not like we're draining it.
We'll still have 5,900 left, we still have $6,000 left. I mean, we've always talked about tires, engines,
Right.
things like that. Really with the 1,300, with that 7,200 versus 59, does that give us
It's not
any
gonna
saver?
make a difference. If you got a set of tires you gotta replace, that's,
I mean,
That's it.
let's face it,
It's horse beast, yeah, I
well, we
mean,
gotta do what we gotta do anyway.
flip the coin, I mean,
If, you know, we have 3 huge fires in town, I mean, it could
exactly.
wipe us out $10,000 over budget, who knows? I mean,
And we could even make that as part of the motion as well, for any of them, for in totality, that we could make the motion that we won't pay them to the end of the year, only if we don't have a cast as well. You could even do that as part of a motion, make the minimum 500, and then in totality, as long as no emergency contingency funds would be needed, we'd have to have a special meeting for something like that anyway, to move those funds to operating anyway, so we would know about it.
So, Mr. Iverson, would you care to amend your motion?
Yes, let's amend the motion to make it contingent upon, what Jim said about the, not needing the contingency fund for emergency.
So the motion is to pay the total.
I was gonna just say, can we make sure what the motion is, so I understand, so I will do something wrong?
Wow.
Motion is basically to pay off the remaining retirement payouts using the contingency fund pending no catastrophic action taken in the remainder of 2019. Right?
Yeah,
I-
spell
I-
catastrophic.
Put in whatever you want.
Spell check will get it from you. I was just thinking for a second.
Yeah.
I thought, pardon me, but I thought we were gonna pay these and make the other bottom two contingent on the,
We can do it either way.
at
Really,
the end
do
of
it
the
either
year,
way.
contingent on
Right.
nothing catastrophic.
Can do it either way.
Cause I'd like to just,
It's,
there's no reason to, if we're gonna pay these guys up here, when we have the funds and we're gonna do it, to wait, just do it.
I thought Jim had said just do the minimum 500 payout with the contingent at the end of the year, nothing catastrophic happened, then
Happens.
pay it out in whole.
Jim,
Because technically, the first three could be paid in full with 3,500. That's in the budget for
Right.
that item. That's, I think, where Chief's maybe going at it.
So,
that's kinda what I'm getting at.
But we really can't, because we gotta pay 1,000 to the bottom too. So
Oh.
really, we only can pay the first one off full. And then the second one would still have 300 left again, so.
Then just wait till the end of the year to do them all.
And that's where
I think that's the best.
Make the motion.
I think that's the best way.
And at the end of the year, if something does happen, we can still pay out.
Most of still pay them out,
You
yeah.
know, we can still pay out who we can, and, or maybe pay everybody 5 again.
Contingent upon how, pending any catastrophic activity.
right.
Contingent, the,
Budget,
no,
basically.
the contingency isn't used for,
Right.
yeah.
Mr. Iverson, you're okay with your motion?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Hanson, any other discussion?
Give me 1 second, I'll read it back here, I just wanna get the numbers right. 28, 13, 5. So basically, so we'll have to move $4,600 from contingency.
Okay.
Is that the number you got, Barry?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. So we'd have to move, motion by Everson to transfer $4,600 from contingency to firefighter appreciation fund, pending no catastrophic budget items needed for the contingency funds. All outstanding retirement payouts will be paid in full at such time. If contingencies are needed, each retiree will receive $500 for an agreement. Motion by Arson to transfer $4,600 from contingency to firefighter appreciation fund pending no catastrophic budget items needed for the contingency funds. All outstanding retirement payouts will be paid in full at such time. If contingency funds are needed, each retiree will receive $500 per agreement.
I think that sounds right.
Make sense, chief?
Yes.
They'll all get their 500 as part of our agreement. But obviously, again, if we're touching contingency, we wanna make sure that there's nothing that catastrophic that happens. And if there's not, then we'll pay off everybody and be done with it,
They'll all get their $500 at the end of the year,
no matter what.
and if it's, okay.
We have to.
Right, but we're not paying, I wanna make sure we're not paying out 500 to everybody now and then taking care of the rest later. Never mind.
It's one or the other, I would
Yes,
say.
and I like it.
How are you seconding that,
Yes.
correct? Thank you. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Yep.
You okay with that?
Any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I would say if there's something catastrophic, we'll have to have a special meeting and
Mhm.
we'll figure it out from there, then, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
But with the budget, I get, well, every time there's bills paid, just so, you know, every time she pays bills, whether it's 3 times a month, twice a month, whatever, something, she gives me an updated budget report. I'd start that in October, and I do it all the way through December, so that I'm trying to keep track, so. And I think we're looking pretty good right now, knock on wood.
All right. Review, status of rescue truck.
Yeah, there's nothing to report. Pierce is advertising it for us. Like I said, there's nothing to report now, but I will let you know if there's an offer made, and we'll go from there. We've still only ran the ladder truck a couple times in place of the squad, so it's not like we've had a huge test. But I think our major test to that is gonna be coming in the next couple months, just with the weather and everything like that, so.
Okay.
And a reminder to talk to Lori and see if we can get that in the municipality.
To what?
Our conversation about getting in the municipality if possible.
Yes, yeah, we're gonna try advertising in other places also.
I've seen a recall, and correct me, back when we were hiring fire chiefs, we had a free listing in municipalities, correct?
Town
Mhm.
association.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. So anywhere that we can help chief with
Okay.
listing that, I'd say let's look
Yeah.
at that as long, free and everything like that, we're not gonna put a comma on
And it might go on that because there's
it. I've seen them in there before.
other
Mhm.
towns that, you
Right.
know.
I see equipment in there.
Equipment
that-
and
So
Dump
should I go,
trucks.
should I go through the township for
Oh.
that, or
Yeah,
through?
everything, everywhere.
Okay.
Township, Lori,
Yeah.
municipality.
Jefferson.
The state has a surplus.
Yeah,
on
Wisconsin,
auctions. Have we thought
bid
about
network.
that?
The,
They have
yes,
equipment on
yes,
it.
but you have to
Pier-
have a minimum.
Right.
You have to
Pierce
set a
talked-
minimum price,
Oh,
and it's an auction
okay.
site more than I think it's a list.
The girl who's handling us at Pierce, her name's Leslie, she mentioned that, but she said, just
Hold off on that.
Let
right
them
now,
try
don't do that, so.
it. There's
I mean, there are quite a few
different-
listed on there, but, you know.
I'll get you the
wait and
information to
make
put
that the
out
last
there.
thing.
It's a good
Okay,
idea.
that's fine, I'm just checking.
Yeah, no, it's a good thought.
Air packs.
We can reach out to Mike and talk about that too,
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, he would.
see what the rules are.
Air packs, chief.
I guess I'm just waiting for the final approval tonight to be able to order those.
Okay.
I can give you the amount again if you want, or, I don't know how, Jim, I don't know how you wanna do that, cause we already talked about the amount.
I think we all got the information, and I apologize, I was at the last meeting, I don't know what you guys discussed, but I know as a city, we looked at it, that we were going to pay in full.
Right.
I believe we had that conversation with the towns as well, that paid in full, and then we were gonna be done, so there won't be any lease or anything like we had to do with the
Right.
ladder trucks, so it'll be paid in full next year, and we'd own them, and they're ours.
Okay.
Did you need the amount again, or not?
I would say probably wouldn't hurt to have a formal motion.
The amount for 32 air packs, 32 bottles, 32 spare bottles, 42 face pieces, and comes out to $182,000 from $182,500. $182,500. That's what we, that's what the number you guys motioned last meeting.
Is it just Scott, or is it Scott Manufacturing, Scott Inc.? What's the form of it?
It would be,
So that's just the brand.
yeah, it would be,
That's what I.
it would be payable to Oshkosh Fire and Police
Thank you.
Equipment, Oshkosh Fire and Police Equipment Incorporated.
All right, so we'll look for a motion.
So, I just have one thing that we've talked about with our municipality. We did agree to pay for this, and I know that we were talking for much of the year about the grant procedure, that everything was, that was what the grant was for. Even though we have the capital improvements fund for fire equipment replacement or emergency equipment replacement, we just think for future, if there's big expenses like that, so we can still put that in as a line item when we do our budgets, that this, you know, it should be all like approximate amounts to each municipality, so that everybody's aware of what's expected, or a possible expense for the coming year. So, does that make sense?
Yeah,
You know.
I thought we had those numbers before the budget. We had them in our budget.
Yeah.
We had capital improvement numbers, yes.
We had them numbers, but I think we were still waiting on the grant. And so it wasn't really brought to the municipalities, I don't think.
It was part of our budget discussion, so I'm not sure what to tell you.
I don't know.
So,
Because the
so I
original was
guess
on the
I'm,
higher priced ones,
Yeah.
actually. We
It was
actually
the
had the higher.
220
We had the
before,
220,
yeah.
that's what we had budgeted.
right, so I guess what I'm looking at is, going forward, you know, I think, was it 2021, we're looking at buying a fire truck,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So come, you know, next year, we should be able to have an idea, at least an estimate cost, so that when we all start discussing our budgets, that for expenses, that we know that the next coming year, we have this expense coming out of, especially the capital, improvements account, you know?
At least by July, so you have time to
Right,
look ahead on that.
right,
I did, when I was on the phone when I was talking to Pierce about advertising the squad, we did talk, and I said, what's a ballpark for a rescue fire engine? Working on numbers in my head, like what we're gonna get, you know, the money we're gonna make in call volume plus the money we're gonna make off the squad, you know, we should be able to have a good figure by July or August, because the process, if we're gonna buy an engine, the process to spec that engine out takes probably 2 to 3 months.
right.
And you have to,
I mean, there's
you have
gotta
to
be,
start the
I mean, you
process
gotta
to get the
have
numbers.
a number there's gotta be a ballpark
ballpark.
figure, you know, cause you guys all know that we also, Berlin Fire District, or Fire Department handles part of our township too, and that, you know, they're pretty good about letting us know 5 years in advance what their projected, you know, expenses are gonna be, even with inflation. It's just a ballpark figure where they are able to, you know, let the municipalities plan out for it, you know? And so I guess that going forward, we're just hoping that there's a little bit more formality to it, you know?
well, I think I can give you that, I can give you the capital improvement stuff we have, those are the numbers that you can plan from now till 2025,
5-year, 10-year,
I think it's out, so.
We have the trucks in our 5-year capital already.
Yeah.
That's the one that we got in the capital improvements, or is like,
The city, we already have the trucks figured in our 5-year capital plans.
okay.
So
But,
we're-
but to get with what Mike's saying, I'd put it at that, Barry and I and the deputy chief and stuff, we worked on those numbers, and we gave you, you should have, and if you don't, I'll give it to you, but 2025 is this, 2028 is this. I'm not gonna be here, but I'm throwing out that we're gonna get a new tender in 2028, you know, so, but I'll make sure you get that. I'll give it to you again, so you have it.
I think I have that in here, but, you know, just when we know for sure that that we're planning on next year, we're doing it or whatever, I think it would just be better going forward, that everybody definitely knows.
I think the air packs was a little bit different
Yeah.
situation there.
Right, but we
so-
knew that if we didn't get the grant, we still were gonna have to be
Yeah,
purchasing them, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
And that's still a pretty good dollar amount, you know, total, you know, so.
I apologize if I didn't get, I did my best I could, I don't know.
So with that being said, we did, you know, we're in agreement that that needs to get done, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we have a rough idea of the new truck by July of 2020. Because, you know, we're already starting our budget process in August and rolling, so you guys are the same.
Right.
So that would give you time
Yeah,
to
right.
figure that in.
450 for a fancy one, or 250 depending on what we end up getting.
Oh, yeah, right.
No bells, no whistles, it's 250.
I mean, that's bare bones, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what,
Yep.
starting to get in the door, but 450 is
Mhm.
a better number.
7.
After we sell everything and after we do that, 450.
Yes, yes.
All right, back to our air packs. So we're looking for a motion.
450.
I'll make a motion to allocate the $182,500 for the purchase of the air packs from the Oshkosh Fire and Police Department.
No,
Fire and policing.
Oshkosh Fire
Fire
and Police
Incorporated,
Equipment Incorporated.
Equipment Incorporated.
Motion by Hanson, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Regula. Any other discussion on this? All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry,
Just a
Mr.
question.
Page?
That money is coming from the municipalities. When you put it like that, it almost sounds to me like it's gotta come out of our budget, the fire department budget, and it can't. Or am I
Yeah, I
wrong?
think you should
Maybe I'm
maybe
looking at
amend
it
it to
wrong.
come from each municipality.
From each municipality, their percentage? No.
The fire department has to purchase them,
Right.
not the municipalities.
Okay.
Right,
We-
Then
How
you
we
just-
get our
you
money to
just,
purchase them, that's on us as a department.
Then you invoice us.
Correct.
Yeah.
okay. I just know we don't have that much money in the budget to spend, so.
Big
So-
Christmas party this year?
So the
Okay.
department's
Big
purchasing
Christmas
them, not
party
the
this year?
municipalities. So again, any warranty, anything
Yeah.
with that would be the fire
Yep.
department, Ripon Area Fire District,
Mhm.
not town of Ripon or town.
Right, we don't.
When we
Our
get,
municipalities aren't gonna own that, the fire
when we get invoiced, that invoice will go to the city, correct?
And then we'll,
And then they'll,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Huh? 3 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks, yeah. Seeing they're about 3 weeks out now. The holidays is probably gonna be 4 or 5.
Just after the first of
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
D on here,
Joel waited for me.
discuss future bookkeeping services. Jim, you got info on this?
Yeah, basically, long story short, like you guys kind of were at the last meeting, and since then, our current bookkeeper is retiring from the city. Joel made an executive order to hire her part-time, because basically there was a limbo period, between when she retired there to when we could formally meet tonight, and then choose who or what we want to do with bookkeeping services. So we did hire her, lack of a better term, part-time, or interim, until we can meet tonight, and make a formal, you know,
Consider.
decision, thank you. Whether or not we want to continue to use her and through, like we've talked about in the past, or do we want to branch out and look to Huberty, a Shank, you know, or any other places that, you know, provide ADP services and things like that, so. I believe myself, the years I've been part of this, she's been a great asset to the Ripon Area Fire District. Not just bookkeeping, but I believe an asset to the district, to fiscal knowledge to chief, myself as well. I think to probably all of us that have talked to her. And I don't mean to negative, because it was to myself as well. Always had the answer, always has the answer, always can find the answer, always can get us what we need. Checks and balances is there. So it'd be a matter of if we want to continue that or what we want to do. The key is that we'd have to, Joel was positioning us to make a formal motion to continue that relationship with her tonight. She will continue to have the same process through the city, through the same software programming, and that was huge. We talked about that 2 months ago, I believe. Where otherwise if we had to buy that software, 10, 12, we will have some massaging, you know, period here in the next month just to see how it's gonna go, you know, but I think Chief and I have had conversations about it. I know he's had conversations with Joel and Barb about it. To how we can work with invoicing, to emails, secures, you know, how to keep everything good and safe, and whether or not, how we can do it even for payrolls, billings, deposits, you know, how we're gonna handle this for billing and things like that. So some of it we're gonna have to kinda, and that's gonna be with anyone, no matter what we would do with anyone, there's gonna be a new learning curve and things like that, but we've had those discussions, and I'm confident in that. I think it'll be a seamless transition, and I don't think we'll notice the difference personally.
Well, as, you know, since she's been gone, we've had to do bills, we've had to pay payroll, and it's gone seamlessly without, like, she would still be working at City Hall, so. Hasn't been an issue.
So, and again, the massaging of the hours and the times and things like that, I mean, we still need to work, I mean, she's on vacation right now this week, so I didn't wanna bother her on her holiday vacation. But I'd feel safe in making a motion to hire her full-time, and then massaging how that's going to work as far as 1 monthly bill, you know, things like that, we can work on that as far as billing. The goal would be 1 monthly stipend, it's not gonna be an hourly thing or anything like that, it'd be
It's a locked figure.
a bookkeeping service per month, basically 1/12 of what we have budgeted, and, you know, if it takes her 3 hours to do it, if it takes her 30 hours to do it, and she knows what she's getting into with it, and so she had all that figured out with the hourly and, you know, all those things, but it'd be basically a monthly stipend like anything else. It doesn't affect WRS, it doesn't affect our employments, that's all been looked into by legal, so I can't see anything as a bad thing.
So, she's gonna charge us about what we're paying now, or?
Correct. Yeah,
Well-
she basically backed into it
Right.
for what her current hourly is and what we're currently being charged, and just backed it back into it. The difference would be, instead of paying basically the city, we'd be paying her.
An independent.
Yes, and I don't know if she's actually formed an LLC yet, I believe she was working on that. I never saw anything for that yet,
I know she's working on it.
so. that
Put a
may-
different email address together, I know that,
Correct.
but.
So, it'd be a matter of, I would say the motion would be something like to Barb Mashak and to whatever firm she's representing. Her forms, and then we can work with her in the next couple of weeks here and get it going. The key is Joel's executive order, I believe, ran out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was today or tomorrow, I don't know if it was the 3rd or the 4th, I apologize.
I think it was the 4th.
So, that's why we would make a formal motion tonight to do that. Does that make sense?
Well, the advantage we're getting is we're retaining her knowledge that she currently has about our department. For somebody new coming in, figuring things out,
I believe it's cost effective.
yeah.
And she already knows what's going on, it's not
Mhm.
like you gotta
Correct.
teach her.
Right,
understands payroll, understands how we
Honestly,
payroll, why we
to-
do it.
and has a good rapport with Chief and
Right.
with Jim,
Well,
so.
everybody else.
She's been phenomenal to work
Yeah.
with, and
Yeah.
I'll second
she
that.
knows everything.
Mr. Iverson?
Now, do we need a motion to move on with this?
Yes.
Yep.
I thought you'd made it, Jim. That's how I heard it.
I second it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
We can get everybody the contact information, obviously, we won't get City Hall anymore, so we'll get her, you know,
When she gets
if
set up.
she's gonna use the cell phone, and like the chief said, the new emails and stuff like that. We'll get all that forwarded to everybody and make sure everybody's got that in case there would be questions or concerns.
New business, put some thought into, next month, we'll have some discussion as what we wanna do as far as, board members, or I mean, positions.
Officers.
Do you want me out?
That's fine.
But just give it some thought as to what we wanna do. As of right now, if for some reason I wouldn't be here, it would fall onto Jim. Not that his shoulders aren't big enough to handle all that, but in my opinion, Jim has enough to do with the position he's got, so. So that'll be under new business for next meeting.
And that'll give us time as a city to decide if we're gonna look at getting a fourth person, you know, to fill Joel's
Right,
spot, let alone,
Right.
let
or
alone
wait until,
officer position, but
yeah.
if we're gonna wait for the election, if we're gonna just do it the way we do,
Mhm.
just us three for the next
Few months.
5 months until we,
Is there an election in April again
yeah,
for
Yeah.
the city?
yeah, there's multiple changes, I mean,
Right,
many changes that could happen.
Yeah.
I guess the only certainty would be Howie and I right now,
that's it.
all respect to them,
Although the bylaws to state an elected official, so I could stay for a while if we need to fill a council position that no one has ran for.
Correct. Just in case your future needs, you
I-
know.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I thought this out, the bylaws say elected official, so in order to keep enough people on the board until
Mhm.
we fill that, I could certainly stay for a while. That
Well,
assumes,
soon happens
that
for the
assumes a lot of
elections.
things,
Yeah.
Wait for the elections.
Well,
to go through
assuming-
and then-
What you're assuming,
yeah.
last time we had one of those on,
Mhm.
we had a big problem.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and he's a different character, but.
And the other thing would be whether or not, who gets elected, who gets on the board, if they want to choose an officer position or want, I guess, to that point too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that'd be the other thing, or if do we wait till our main, it'd be our May meeting? No,
Yep.
yeah, it'd be our May meeting,
Yeah.
we would elect officers.
Right. And that's an option.
And that, we can discuss that in the next meeting.
Right.
Something to think about.
We would have to be careful
Consistency
for
purposes,
quorum
probably do
business.
We're one less, so we,
Status quo until you
Mr.
know.
Iverson?
The quorum, I think it's a little kind of flexible. Is it the number of people currently on the board or the number that should be? Because that number would change depending upon how you look at it. If it's just people who are actually here, minus Joel who's resigned, well, then there's 6 of us, so that quorum number is gonna change a bit differently. I mean, I'm just saying, I've
It goes
heard,
off the number of positions, just like if we have a city council of 8,
That-
it still goes off that, right?
Mm-hmm.
maybe, I'm just saying, I've read 2 interpretations. The other thing is,
We can ask Tom or let him look for.
yeah,
Jim.
we could do that. Oh, the bylaws do talk about having alternates. So there could be an alternate person appointed for X amount of months.
We've done that before.
So that's something we can also consider.
A while ago, but we did that. Joel was gone for a couple months and
Yeah.
Al came for a couple months, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Years.
Years, yeah. Term ago?
So then, yeah, we can reach out and see if somebody on the council wants to
Right.
come in for 4 or 5 months, see how they like it. But at the same point, we're
Everybody's gonna be
we're
running
gonna have
thin.
3, 4, 5 new members, so we don't know.
I would almost think it's good for consistency to keep it, and then, once you know is he leaving, there's 2 guys, then 2 new people come in, and, cause anything can happen.
Just see what happens.
We'll
We'll
look
discuss it
on
next,
that.
next meeting.
Yeah, we'll discuss that at this meeting. If anybody has any other new business for next meeting, get it to me. I will be sending out my email address, which would be chairman@townofripon, so you guys have it.
So you'll do the agenda for January then?
I believe so,
Good.
unless you wanna take that over.
But you have that, you can just amend it, right?
Pardon me?
You have that, so you'll be able to just amend it if we.
Right,
Right, what he's saying.
Yep. He's got board discussion, communication, I'm not sure what,
He always has it on there in
Yeah.
case there's anything we need to, kinda like if he was here to resign, or
okay.
if I said I was gonna be gone for the next 4 months.
I think we're moving smoothly.
Jim's spent around the world.
No, I'm back now.
Next one on here, we've got, agenda items for future meeting, proper billing practices, legal opinion, that just billing procedures is needed. I don't know what that was.
I asked you about that today. I really don't know where that went. I know back in August, there was question whether or not we could demand bill, basically demand pay, collections, if you will, and we do have that right as a district. We've always had that right. We've been doing that as a district. So I don't know if that was just a clarification of somebody questioned if we could even do that or something, or what that was. So I guess next time I talk to Joel, I'll ask him if we need follow-up, we will, but I had nothing for that.
Okay, alright. You know, this year, should that be,
19, or 20 actually.
right. Then at this time, we'll adjourn to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute number 19.851C regarding consideration of employment, promotion, compensation, or performance, evaluation data of public employees over which the Ripon Area Fire District has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for the 2020 employee compensations. Discuss chief's salary benefits and annual review, and discussion on insurance options.